Hello, 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 and welcome back. We have Gibraltar, the Tier 10 Research Bureau Royal Navy cruiser for 62,000 research points. That's quite a bit of research points. We're going to get into what makes this ship so special. In economic-wise, without the merits, 50%, 105, 115, and then 150 with a clan. If you don't have a clan, then you're going to be 100% in free XP. Upgrade-wise, main armaments 1, engine room, engine room, aiming systems, steering gears, concealment, and main battery. Consumables, 3 charges of repair, 3 hydros, and 3 smokes. Now they're normal smoke generator smokes, not the quick fire ones that you will find on other ships, which is very nice. Armor layout, that's where it gets a little tricky. You get 25mm bow, 25mm plating on the back. We pull this away. That's the Citadel right there, folks. So it does sit above the waterline. But remember, it's 25mm stern right here. This is gonna get knocked out a lot, which is why we took engine room protection to basically allow us to still be able to keep, well, doing our thing, basically. Because your engine's gonna get blown out. I mean, that's a given in this ship. Survivability-wise, it gets 59,400, so not much more than a ZOW, honestly. Not much more than a ZOW, unfortunately. 13% torpedo reduction, you take a torp, you're really going to be hurting in this thing. Artillery-wise, let's get into the guns. Basically, it gets Goliath guns, but they're only shooting armor piercing, which have a max damage of 6,300 or 6,038 with a max range of 16.9, which isn't a lot. It has a 12-second reload with a 22-second 180. Okay, so what makes these guns so special? They are basically, short fuse kind of armor piercing shells. So what does that mean? Short fuse basically means that you will be getting solid penetrations on DDs, so you're slapping destroyers for 5, 6, 10. How many shells out of the 12 guns you hit, you're going to be slapping them good. But also, another thing that really makes this thing really valuable is the armor. So let's look at this armor right here. So the shells will actually arm on this superstructure. They will arm on superstructure basically. So let's just look at this. 19, 16, the usual. You're arming on that. You're basically going to arm on that upper part. So you're not getting overpinned. You're getting solid pinned. You're getting, some overpinned. You're getting some solid damage just from that. That's the huge thing, is that it's not overpinning. It's getting solid penetrations on here. That's the big thing about this ship. Now, I will highlight it versus the Monmouth. As you know, I don't have the Monmouth, unfortunately. So, that's a tough one. Do you spend the money to get the Monmouth, or do you just spend time and effort to just get the Gibraltar? I would honestly just do the time and effort, because there's no point in spending $150 on a Tier 10 premium. There really isn't. There really isn't. That is just a waste of money. Is it a good ship? Absolutely. But is it worth the money? Nothing at Tier 10 is worth that kind of money. I'm sorry. Nothing's worth that money and this ship does literally the same job. Doesn't get torpedoes, doesn't get high explosive and all those fun little gimmicks. So it does have a little bit of a more skill ceiling. But You will see in the replay what this ship really does, and it will just cream everything. It is a wonderful ship to play. Maneuverability is 32 knots. Rudder shift is wonderful at 10 seconds. Turning circle, it's a little bit huge. Concealment is 12.7. Now, our captain, we don't have concealment on there, so with concealment, it would go down to 11.5, which isn't a huge amount. You're losing 1.3. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but it, honestly, when you factor in your smoke firing penalty, honestly, you're not gaining much. Now, of course, you know, if we did that, we would basically get 16 points right there. Honestly, this is basically the standard build. The reason you take heavy armor piercing is because it only fires armor piercing and you're going to get more damage. And there were a number of times I would be playing and I would basically hit a ship and I would leave it on so much less HP. So the heavy HP does give you a little bit more damage. And that helps it cross that 6,000 threshold. Otherwise, you're getting about less than a little under 6,000. So keep that in mind. But let's get into the replay so you can see this ship. Again, the replays do so much more to show these ships than I can ever explain. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Gibraltar. This ship, this ship is, to give you an idea, this ship makes me have an orgasm.
Many thanks.
I know that's a very weird way to put it, but I love this ship. I love this ship on my very first match. Now, what makes this ship special? Well, you know, it does have Minotaur AP. Minotaur short fuse armor piercing, which is just ridiculously strong. But you're getting it in 12 guns and 3 quad turrets. So heavy broadside salvos. Like, look at this. 8,000. I've had 10,000. I've had even higher salvo hits before. Like, it's so great. I love this ship. Like, that's 13,000 just in 2 salvos. Just from short fuse armor piercing. It's ridiculous. This ship is just stupid. I'm going to be praising this ship a lot. Like, I love playing the ship in ops. And with only a 10-point captain, I'm looking forward to getting even more points on it to really bring it out. And I'm probably going to make this more of a DACA boat than anything, or at least a more DPM based boat, if anything. Now, we will highlight some of its weaknesses also in this replay. And right off the bat, we will tell you this thing does not take a torpedo. If it takes a torpedo, it's usually dead. Now, at the time of this recording, I literally had played a Gibraltar game on Cherry Blossom. I was on that island in the port, and I was backing up into torpedoes. One torpedo managed to hit me, like, right under my superstructure. And I managed to live. And I was actually very surprised being a Japanese torpedo. Now, we are detected. So, and the Iowa is looking at us. We use our smoke room. Since we don't have superintendent, we don't get a lot of consumables. So that is a downside. But I mean, look at that. 12K. The guns are just ridiculous. I would honestly say this ship does honestly half the work for me. Like, when I play this ship, I have fun. Like, but you also do need to know where to aim. And since it's Minotaur AP, you know, superstructure, upper belt, that kind of sweet area. Like, look at that. That was 15,000 with 10 armor-piercing shells. You're scoring those kind of salvos. And if you're hitting, like, broadside cruisers at decent ranges, you're going to do even more. Now, we are in a very bad spot. Because I want you to think about it. The team is going to kill the cruisers up north. We still have the Worcester. That means I've got to get to that island at G6 before the Cleveland spawned. And yeah, that's not great. Because everyone knows when those Cleveland cruisers spawn, you are basically dead. And we're going to highlight, okay, remember, we're full HP right now. Full HP, and the Clevelands come in. Now, remember, Gibraltar doesn't have the best armor. And as I'm trying to make a run for this, I'm like, I'm so screwed. I'm so far in detection range. I think I'm going to fail on this. I think I'm going to die. I think I'm honestly going to die. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be right. Because we can see the Worcester over there. We can see the team shooting them. But all I'm concerned about is getting into cover and getting as far away from these cruisers as possible. And I'm thinking, every second that thing stays alive, I get a little bit of time. And I'm keeping my eye on those timers above, and I'm like, oh. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to be fun. There's the Clevelands. 2 Clevelands show up. And let's just watch our HP go. Bye-bye.
Ship is on fire.
Since we are detected, we do have to turn in. They will start shooting armor piercing. So we aim for the superstructure in the butt. Looks like our Burgone buddy comes in and gets a pretty good salvo, which does save us. Hit a pretty good salvo on the back, 6,300. Use the back turret. Pick up that cruiser. Remember, 2 more cruisers spawn in. So I've literally got to survive 2 more cruisers. Now we do get a 16K salvo there. 13K salvo. So that was what, 30K right there? Don't aim as well, but look at our HP. We lost 40K just from those Clevelands. We get a nice 13K on the butt. And remember, we do have priority targets, so we know 2 guys are aiming at us. We do get a Citadel and manage to kill 1 Cleveland. And we do go dark. But we went from 59,000 HP to 20,000 HP in just a few minutes. Like 2 minutes. Because of all that superstructure getting saturated and the deck armor being saturated. And I'm like, oh, how do we want to do this? Do we still want to go for broke? Yeah, we're gonna go for broke. We're gonna go for the CV, and we're gonna make it work. But as you can tell by if I had more HP, I would have gone in farther into the CV to kill him. But since I don't, I need to stay, fairly at max range.
An enemy aircraft carrier was spotted in the combat area.
See, Midway's detected, 14 kilometers. We get a nice citadel, 15k. But I mean, that's 7 armor-piercing shells. One person aiming at us. We should have 3 aiming at us pretty soon. I thought he would be going forward, so I aimed for the... Now I see he's moving forward. But 11k, the short fuse armor piercing is doing work. Then he starts to turn in, and that's where the angling really starts to I know that I've fought Minotaurs and randoms. I know their weaknesses. You go bow into them, and they can't do nothing to you. Once that CV puts an angle on me, that CV's armor is going to negate every kind of, my armor piercing's advantage. So I have to bug out and run. Because then I've got Seattle, I've got a 4 Sherman, I've got a Fletcher, I've got stuff that will kill me. But we're not going to run. Now, I honestly thought, looking at the map, the Montana was honestly going to shoot the CV. I honestly thought he would. But we know where the first wave spawned, we don't know where the second wave spawned, so we can either be on top of us or south of us. Or on the one line or south of us, sorry. See, if he gets spotted, he's basically broadside, so we are able to use our armor piercing again. And at this range, I can pretty much tank all this. Okay, a couple of our shells are ricocheting, but we're still getting, small amounts of chunk damage. Not enough to really be like, okay, we're hurting. He's still broadside, but he's also gonna be turning out. And I'm like, waiting for him to try to get that turn. And at this point, I'm looking at the Montana.
I owe you one.
And I'm thinking, he's gonna steal my kill. He's gonna steal it. And I'm like, he may not steal it. He might respect it. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna respect it. And we crossed 250k. And our Carl Johan is like, well done. Considering I did that. Now, here's a 35k HP, or 34k HP Sherman. Watch this. 13,000. He's down to 20,000. Another armor piercing salvo. Only 6k. Well, technically that was about 10,000 right there. Third salvo. He's gone. 3 salvos and he's gone. Yeah. You can see why I love this ship so much. And then I'm like, ooh, whiskey. Whiskey, 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 whiskey. Now, the secondaries on this are daring guns, but I'm like thinking, oh, this is going to be so fun with this ship. And I enjoy playing the ship. I play the ship usually once a day to get the daily. I love this ship. And, I was thinking, and I did watch Euro's video on it, and I was like, I really do need a British ship for my fleet. And I'm thinking, but that short fuse armor piercing, and I'm like, that's the iffy part, because I do know the minnow, and I'm like, that's going to be a tough one. And then first match I get Cherry Boss, and I'm like, oh yeah, I like this ship. Yeah, in like 2 minutes we went up, what is that, about 50,000. Then we have Mr. Fletcher that's just sailing broadside, so I'm like, let's just go for the Fletcher. Okay, we did miss that one slightly. That's a very bad shot. I think we picked this up. I don't remember. Nope. We do manage to only leave it on like 1100 HP. Now the third wave is going to be southwest, so now I'm like, time to run. I only have 20,000 HP to work with. I'm out of heals. I've only got one smoke, and I'll soon only have one charge of Hydro left. Oh, technically 2 charges. I always miss that. We do get a Citadel, that's 11,000. And remember, that's 15 kilometers away. So, and also our Montana's dead. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. We've spotted 100,000 in damage for our team. We've got 346k.
Smoke generator started.
We got one aiming at us. We are in the heal circle. We are healing, but you know it only heals like 100 to 200 HP, and that's not a lot. So we're relying on that short fuse armor piercing, and we are radared. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. We got one aiming at us, 2 aiming at us. Do get a Citadel, not enough to kill it though. We get a nice, what was that, 18,000 on the Annapolis. With all 12 shells. With 1 overpen. And I'm like, can I crack 500,000 in this? I'm like, I'm super close, and there's more than enough HP out there to really do it. So I'm like, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. We've tanked over 1 million, and we're still spotting damage. Yeah, and we're still tanking damage. Yeah, we tanked 1.5 million for a cruiser. We were in a French cruiser, we had another 500,000, our skill would go off, which would give you a speed increase. So I'm like, And of course I'm going to go for the main. Because, you know, all that juicy Citadel hits, well, not Citadel, but superstructure. And I'm like keeping an eye on what could shoot me. Because the Annapolis could shoot me. And yeah, something is aiming at us. Now the DD is at a 32-degree angle, but we still do 13,000 to it. Had we probably had that third turret hit, we probably would have picked up that kill. Now, Annapolis is looking at us, unfortunately, so we are not in a great position. But I'm thinking, let's try and crack 500,000.
Ship is on fire. Problem solved, sir.
Annapolis comes out. He is basically almost broadside, so we might be able to get some Citadel hits. Okay, we need 1 salvo. 1 salvo. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're dead. our salvo manages to do just enough to get us the 500,000. I honestly knew once I came around that corner I was dead to the main. Swagger's gonna block the torps. Not enough time to get the ram though, on for our Burgon, it looks like. So we end up with 500,000 in credits, 500,000 in damage, 2,000 in free XP, with our assistant top of the team with 21, 22. Yeah, that one main we did 30,000 to. So we were to get in just enough to get, well, our 5 million, our 500,000, which I'm happy of. Now let's look at the HP. Well, we're just gonna look at the HP. Cleveland, Lima, 20,000. Oscar, 5,300. Kilo, 7,000. Helena, another 7,000. You can see how fast this thing dies to HE. Still almost full 500,000. And a really nice amount of free Commander XP. So a really good game. But I really hope this shows you Gibraltar.